wanted to create a convention that we felt like was truly built from the ground up to be very inclusive of everyone, like make everyone feel like they really belong in the world of fandom, because they do. You know, everybody deserves a seat at the table and deserves to feel comfortable and safe attending events, and not to be shut out of like networking opportunities and fun stuff to do. So that was the original impetus, and it's been so much fun that we keep doing it, just because it's the number of awesome people that we've met along the way, and just how much everyone, including us, looks forward to that weekend in October every year. It's not that big a stretch to say that sometimes people do go and then come out a little bit changed on the other side of it, at least in terms of their new friends and their new thoughts on things, and like rejuvenated inspiration.
I think the conversations is what Jesse means. When you come out of it and you've had all of these amazing conversations that you don't necessarily get to have in everyday life, people who are smart and funny and usually quite goofy, and it's becoming a family.
And that starts with our show and our means of taking care of you, which is by entertaining you. And that involves us telling you all the reasons why you decided to attend. I'm sure you know them well. But now it's time to turn the spotlight on the Multiverse Convention with your host, Joe Compton. Technically, I'm not hosting, but...
You're hosting, you're just not GMing.
Hello. I was just going to let you take it, so go ahead.
Hey, everybody. It's your, I would say friendly, but I'm not that friendly, but your neighborhood play track director and game hall director, SM Hillman, or just Sean. And I'm looking forward to 2025 Multiverse in the play track. We had a new venue last time, and now we're going to ramp that venue up. So tonight, we are what we're going to do is we're going to play an RPG called Cold Soldier. It's a one-on-one. Let me explain that in a minute. But it's a one-on-one. Yeah, I know, right, Vanessa? RPG related, or it's RPG where we just have two people sit down, the very most basic role playing that you can get to. Cold Soldier, I will say ahead of time, it tackles dark subject matter. So if you had a high opinion of Sean beforehand, your opinion may change. But that's just to let you know, right? We are going to tackle a few dark things. Cold Soldier is about a dead soldier from some time period being dragged from the grave by a merciless and dark master. And so that should give you an idea of what's going to happen. We're going to go through step by step, though, how to play the game, and we'll probably, I suspect, even be able to finish. They often don't go very long. I know most people think that RPGs go like 2 to 4 hours, or in that's the new set. But in the old days, where we would play 6 hours till midnight. Leave campus, go to somebody else's off campus apartment, start a completely new campaign, and play till sunup. These things happen. They don't happen quite as much anymore. That is correct. That is how I run the tracks. But before we get too deep into that, I want to talk a little bit, Joe, if you don't mind, about Multiverse, some of the things we have coming up this year in the track. So I'd be remiss to say it. Bob Magoo, or Tales by Bob, is sponsoring the gaming / play track this year, which means that we have a few items that really allows us to broaden what we're able to do, and also I think helps spotlight the gaming area a little bit more. We're going to have plenty of board games. We're going to have Pathfinder. We're going to have D&D. We're going to have indie RPGs and some other things. So, a couple of announcements. This is the one I know Jesse is most happy about, but I am too. I'm really happy about this. The Brothers Chaps, the creators of Homestar Runner, will be demoing a couple of games at the con, and that'll be in the game room, and maybe some other places too. While performing in character, they'll demo the Trogdor board game with Strong Bad heckling players while they try to avoid burnination. If you have any idea what I'm talking about, you must be tickled by now. They'll also demo their point-and-click video game, Dangeresque, and Matt Chapman, with Matt Chapman, sorry, Matt, voicing all the Homestar characters live. So that you're going to look forward to. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to tease a little bit. We don't have all the details nailed down just yet. We're working on something new and exciting. First ever for Multiverse, with fans of PS5 and Switch 2 gaming should keep an eye on our social media for announcements coming soon. That's all I'm going to say about that. So a couple painting teasers for you, those of you who paint miniatures. We have a best wizard painting contest this year. So basically what that means is you're going to 3D print or buy, or don't steal from people, a wizard miniature standard scale. Okay. If you go smaller or larger, that's okay too. We will have specific categories for those, but so best wizard, but don't, like, nothing over 54 millimeter. I don't need a life-size Gandalf. Although I guess if you bring a painted life-size Gandalf, you're probably gonna win. So we're gonna have a contest.
Well, that wouldn't technically be a miniature anymore either, would it?
That's true. It'd be a maxiture, that's for sure. But you bring it pre-painted. You'll have painted it at home, and make sure that you do everything to keep it from being chipped and stuff like that. You bring it. We'll put them on display in the gaming area, and judges from the people who, some of our guests, some of our staff members will be judges, and we'll have a couple of categories like best in show, I think, probably, and then best, maybe best alien looking wizard, because I like sci-fi stuff. But yeah, so bring your best painted wizard to Multiverse and enter it in our contest. Second painting contest we're going to have is for those of you who are hardcore Grimdark hobbyists. You bring one kill team, just one. You get to enter one kill team. Oh, and you get to enter one miniature of the previous one. But one kill team from the Games Workshop's kill team line that you have painted. So you bring your kill team, and the team will be judged. It's like, instead of just one miniature, we'll judge your whole team, not too harshly. But why would we ask you to bring a whole kill team if they weren't going to get to kill something? So stand by, keep an eye out on our social media for Multiverse for what you might be able to do with that kill team other than put it on display. And this question may come up, so I think it's probably relevant that I say it here. The kill team that you bring for the contest could be different from the kill team you bring for killing. I'll just say that. Okay, so that is where we are right now.
Can I address the rumor? That's in
sure?
the chat?
Go ahead. What's the rumor?
Is the rumor true that this is Joe's first TT RPG experience? It is true.
It is true. That is true. Yes.
This has been in the works for probably about, probably about a year. I think since Multiverse, not last year's Multiverse, but the Multiverse before. Sean was talking to me, actually probably Jordan Con before that, was talking to me about how he was going to get me onto one of these things and make me do this. So here I am.
Yeah, here you are. And the funny, maybe the ironic part is that Cold Soldier is what I would consider, like, not necessarily the deep end, but it's certainly the deeper end of the RPG, right? We're not starting with D&D. or
Yeah, you wouldn't get me to sit down for one of those. So
right, exactly. Those are not. I mean, yeah, it's the most popular, but it's not everybody's cup of tea, right?
Yeah.
But something like this, which is very intense and it can be very personal, I think will go over really well.
Mhm.
So what we need is everybody needs a piece of paper. I'm going to use my Google Docs. Joe, you can use paper or Google Docs as you wish.
I got paper.
Yep, that works. No, you want to highlight Vanessa's last comment? So this is multiverse. We can, yes, I'm popping Joe's RPG cherry. Okay, so I apologize. Yep, one of us now. So there's going to be a little bit of explanation as we go, right? Because I'm assuming a lot of you haven't played Cold Soldier. So let me do a little bit of background for you. Although the author does say it's introductory role playing, and to some degree it is. Let me address one quick thing real quick before we go. Sorry, Sean's being pedantic about RPG stuff. A lot of folks consider what we're about to be doing solo RPGing. It's not explicitly solo play. Solo play is when you're playing by yourself. This is what I would consider one-on-one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people will contextualize this as solo role playing because there's one player. Although in this case, as a GM, I'm not just the world, but the character I'm going to portray is really active. So anyway, there we go. Pedanticness over, I promise. So Cold Soldier, designed by Bret Gillan. I believe that's how you pronounce Brent's name. 2011, Gas Mask Games. This version that I have here was adapted for Adept Play by Ron Edwards. Ron is a friend of mine and a bit of a mentor as well. With permission. The Dead Walk. A dark master has called upon them to serve for evil and destructive purposes. You are one of those beings. That's you, Joe. You shamble on, tearing apart anything in your path to obey the orders tolling in your mind over and over like a bell. A soldier in this army, a skull that sees once more because of this will. But who you were still glimmers in your mind. Perhaps you can resolve the things left unresolved. Perhaps you can save those that you love. Perhaps shattered fragments that you are, you can still make you who you were a great person. Let me try that again. Perhaps shattered fragments that you are, you can still make who you were a greater person. All right. So this is a game for two people. One of you plays the soldier, and then the text, and then as we go through, you will be Joe. Joe, you are the soldier. So what I want you to do is I want you to briefly describe the soldier, how they died, based on either disease, murder, suicide, or accident. I told you it could get dark. Don't provide any context or specific features of the setting. So you can just describe how they died, and people can infer what we infer from that. So go ahead.
It was by suicide, PTSD, deep PTSD.
Okay.
And that's how it happened. I drank myself to death.
All right, there we go. That's all we need for the moment. The soldier is dead and rotting or rotted. It will not deteriorate to uselessness as the creator, it's me, prevents that. It has emerged from the grave as a more terrible creature, uniquely serviceable to its master. Joe, if you would, describe the terrible weapon that you carry, what it looks like, and the feeling it gives off if someone were to see it?
It's a large, like rocket launching pulse rifle that shoots massive rounds of ammunition at a time, like a 50 caliber rounding. It spins and spins and spins very fast and can shoot probably 200 to 250 bullets per second. And it has a rocket launching capability on it that is very difficult to maneuver if you don't have the strength to do so. And then I can finish you off with a flamethrower it has kind of like a scope and then a rocket launching mechanism that you gyrate, and so that creates the pulse instead of the bullet. So it replaces the pulse and instead of the bullets. And I can only fire one of those off at a time because it has to regenerate. The pulse has to regenerate. And then the flamethrower is just a nice little finishing touch when I want to be cruel, or when you want me to be cruel, I should say.
Right. That's correct. I love it. That's great. That is a great weapon. And you can kind of like imagine emerging from the grave and then finding the various parts and just sort of attaching them to yourself. So at this point, you need to choose whether you serve alone or you're something more, or it's like a small group, like a squad, or even a platoon, or even many, like a horde.
I would say
you're the first. You're the most. You're the most of them. But yeah.
I would prefer to be alone simply because history told me that I don't protect others as well as I thought I could.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so the other player, now we have the soldier risen from the grave with a rather potent modern or near future, really, weapon attached to its rotted corpse. The GM creates the Dark Master's agenda. So I created an agenda based on something I find abhorrent. I am evil in real terms. This is the Dark Master is absolutely evil, right? There's no redeeming this person. So let's see. I'll give you. Okay, so Joe, at this point, we decide when the story occurs, either in the present or the past. I'll let you go ahead and decide that if you wish.
Can I have some little tomfoolery and say that I think it's the present, but it's really in the past?
Sure. This sounds like something out of the 80s, so it feels right, like it's today, but it happens maybe in the 80s. Mm-hmm. That works for me. Location. Do we need? Well, let's choose a location first. So, are we going to live and die in LA? Is it a small town? Is it a different country?
Well, I think I just woke up from being brought out into a grave, so I probably am a little disoriented as to where I would be. But if I had a choice of where I was buried and it was followed by whomever decided to pick my corpse off the ground and put me in a box, I would say that I was probably somewhere in the Northwest.
Okay.
Deep Oregon forest. Somewhere where I could isolate myself and be secluded from other humans for the moment.
Okay. I am going to make up the name of the town where you were close, where they buried you. So we're going to call, and just going to call this Booneberry, Oregon. But it's going to be modeled, depending on how long you stay there, after the town that didn't have any public bathrooms I drove through. So it's a little bit of revenge there.
What was the name? I'm sorry.
Boone, Boon, Berry, Berry.
Okay.
Booneberry. Okay, so we have Booneberry. I'm going to say that it occurs after the invasion of Grenada. So I think that's what, 86, 83, something like that. So this you whether you were involved or not, this happens post Grenada. Okay. So that's where we are. Joe's character has woken up in what he thinks is the future, but it's really still the 80s. After the incident on the island of Grenada, but he was buried after his suicide in the Northwest in Booneberry, Oregon. So obviously we've spoken about what is can be a very triggering subject for folks. So just going forward, we'll try to minimize what happened in that regard, but just be aware that is part of the story. So Joe, you show the folks your. So the interesting thing about this is that we don't use dice for this particular game. We use playing cards. There we go. So Joe, if you would remove the 2 jokers.
Okay. This deck only has 1, actually. Is that a problem?
That's not a problem.
Okay.
Since we only need 1, that's fine. So cut the deck in halves and shuffle the joker into one of the halves.
Okay.
And then once you're done with that, place the other half on top of this half to form a single deck. Normally, obviously, we'd have the deck between us, but as this is the case, we're using one single deck, so Joe's going to pull all the cards for us. So, Joe, when you pull a card, just show the folks. All right. We have prepared the cards. So, rules of the road for the soldier. The soldier cannot speak or communicate. The soldier cannot speak or communicate with other beings at all. No gestures, no writing, no emphatic grunting. Its mind is a dark, cold place, and only memories sometimes illuminate it. Something may be here or awaken here, but not yet. When we begin the first turn, which is where we are right now, the GM describes the soldier's first experience upon returning to the dead, what it sees, what the Dark Master looks like, and how they interact. The GM tells you the first task that the Dark Master has commanded. The Dark Master is an evil creature, and he has created the soldier for loathsome tasks. They impose commands that are problematic for the GM personally. So this is something that I find personally problematic. You may or may not believe that, but it's true. Either the real GM player finds morally repellent. So you find yourself drawn from the grave. You've wandered into, burst through the gate because the barbed wire and the electricity and the guards mean nothing to you. You've rummaged around in this arms site that you were aware of in life. That was not far from where you were buried. And you stand before a person who looks very similar to me. and in fact looks exactly like me. Better dressed than I am. And the person, the Dark Master, walks around you, inspecting you, nodding, saying, "Good, good. This is very good," and draws your attention by snapping his fingers, and gives you your first task. I'm a writer, and I'm not getting my fair due. Other people are stealing my ideas. They're more successful than I am because they're cheating. And the whole purpose of learning sorcery was to create a creature like you to do my bidding for me. So you're going to destroy their support personnel of of my rival writers. And your first task, soldier. Well, wait, the Dark Master has to find his notes. There we go. The first task, soldier, is that you are going to destroy the editor for Mercury Roads. Mercury Roads is very successful, science fiction writer. There's talk about letting Mercury go up on a space shuttle because he's so successful. But I know for a fact that his success comes almost 100% from Talia Jones, his editor. So I want you to take out Talia Jones. You're going to just wipe her off the face of the earth. And without her, Mercury Jones would be nothing. Mercury Roads would be nothing. So that is your first task. So what you do is you tell me what you do to attempt this task. Like, don't editorialize, don't inner monologues. You just tell me, I'm going to go here. I give you place. Actually, Talia Jones doesn't live far from where I've dragged you from the grave. She owns a nice rich person in this house from all the editing she does. Because we all know editors are fabulously wealthy. And I want you to go just get rid of her. Without her, he'll be nothing. So you just described to me how you're going to accomplish the task.
I will get to her house before she does. I will find the back door. I will jimmy the back door so it looks like it's just been opened and nothing else. I won't break any windows or do anything. I will just simply be able to unpick the lock and sneak in through the back door and wait within
So let me stop you there. So let me describe her house a little bit. It's up on a slight rise. It's surrounded by trees, but but there's enough trees clear that has a pool in the back, of course. There is a back door. It's glass, but there is obviously a locking mechanism there. And if any of you remember those from the 80s, they were not that hard to jimmy open. And as you approach the glass, you see that the room is sort of a slightly updated 70s decor rumpus room, or like sitting room, right? There's a TV, but it's an expensive TV. There's a leather couch. There's a chair. There's an ashtray on the lighted lamp table. So that's what you see when you go through the door.
I'm gonna look for a spot where it's darker, where there's a corner where I can just blend right into the wall and not be seen. So
right next to the TV is a bookcase. So there's like you walk through a small hallway and then it goes to a laundry room and then goes upstairs. And there's a bookcase sort of sitting caddy like the TV, and then there's a bookcase, and in that corner there's no light. And because of the way the light is reflected in various places, you'd have to you'd have to turn the light on and be in the right place to see you. So yeah, you're there in the corner.
I would probably double down on that by masking I would take out some eye black or some blackening and blacken my face a little bit, just to be extra precautious, because I am a soldier who thinks about the details.
Okay, so you not only you enhance your rotting corpse, so it's even harder to discern in the dark. Okay, so there is an animal in the house, but it's upstairs. It sounds like a bird. It tweets every so often. It sounds like a songbird of some sort. About an interminable. Well, it's some. What time do you arrive? I should ask that.
I would say probably right at dusk, right as the sun goes down, probably.
Okay. So you can see from this window, just over the hill behind the house, the sun does go down, and so darkness descends. Some lights come on outside, but not inside, and you can see the back porch stone. It's a stone slab. It's not much of a back porch. Pretty easily. You do hear a sportsish car arrive in the. Well, actually, let's say that. You say you hear a modern. Like a wagon, right? Like the kind of wagon, square cars, and square car things at the time. Pull up. You hear the tires grinding on the stones.
Mm-hmm.
You hear door open, door close. You hear footsteps on gravel, sort of sliding a little bit, and then you hear a distinct sound of heels on stone. Door opens, door closes upstairs. You hear for a second the clicking of heels on wood, or wood, I suppose. And then it sounds like the padding of feet, the jingling of keys, the dropping of a purse, the jingling of ice, and the pouring of some drink. You hear the footsteps come down the stairs at a slightly different stairways on the other side of the room. Person, medium-sized woman, still dressed professionally, more or less, with a drink in her hand, is walking towards the light in the corner. I'm pretty sure, even though you are camouflaged, when she turns the light on and looks at you, she's going to see you.
Mm-hmm.
This is sort of what we call an obstacle, right?
Yeah.
So defeating the obstacle will finish the task or make it easier for you to do so. All right, so now here we go. We're confronting the command. The command is to eliminate this person. Your impression was that, you can be as indelicate as you wish. How do you want? What do you want? State what you want to do. How you want to finish this task.
As soon as she turns on the light, my hand is already halfway toward her, and my hand goes around her throat.
Okay, got it.
I'm going to pin her against the wall.
Right. Okay, so now we're confronting the command. Go ahead and... Oh, hold on. Let me back up. Okay, so now what I want you to do for me is I want you to draw 3 cards, and you'll lay them down face up. These are my cards.
Okay. You want me to tell you what they are?
Yeah, go ahead and show them to the camera for folks, if you would.
Yeah, sure. It's 10 of hearts.
Okay.
5 of clubs.
Okay.
5 of diamonds.
Okay, so these are suits aren't going to matter. Numbers what really matters. They are, high card matters. Now this is my hand, as it were. So you must begin to complete the command. So you have stated your action. Go ahead and draw, and show everyone the top card.
It's a 3 of 3.
Okay, so here's what you could do. All right. If you have a card higher than the GM's, which you don't, the soldier begins to accomplish the task. If your card is not higher than the GM's, the soldier begins to fail at the task. So I'm going to describe that. But once per turn, so one turn, may use dreadful powers to remove one of the obstacle cards from play and give it to the GM, and you would put that face down for me in my hold. But even if you were to remove the 10, the 5s are still higher than your 3.
Yeah.
Right. She, just as you're reaching for her throat, she goes to knock back the drink and basically throws the drink in your face. Right. It's just enough to throw you off for just a moment. She looks at you and screams. Right. So that's how it's sort of diverted for the moment. Before we go to the resolution, because you didn't have your card wasn't high enough to beat, you may remember something, or it may have the chance to resist command. So here's a couple things that you can do. You may describe a brief memory from the soldier's past, the living self, when you were alive. You can describe the element of the current moment which triggered it, which could be the drink, could be how she was dressed, it could be the light, could be anything, either directly or indirectly. Write both on your character sheet, and then you would place your current card face down next to you, which is your hold, so it's your sort of hold area. Then you would draw a new card, placing it face up against the obstacle cards. So this allows you to trigger memory, allows you to draw another card, or you can resist. The soldier may resist the command if a card in your hold is high enough to defeat the obstacle at any of these points, but only once per turn. So drawing the top card before or after using your weapon, upon drawing a new card when we call it a memory, just prior to determining the task's outcome. So go ahead. So what do you want to do, either of those?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote down the memory that it triggered, and what it was that triggered it.
Go ahead and just describe that for everyone.
Sure. It was the brand of scotch that I drank to kill myself.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Makes perfect sense. All right. So go ahead.
Then getting it in my mouth, it just triggered all of that memory back. So
yeah, absolutely, it would. Go ahead and you discard that card. You don't discard your current card. You put it.
Just turn it upside down, right? Turn it face down.
Yep. And now you draw a new card and show everybody that.
I don't know if it's high or low. Ace.
We'll say ace is high. Poker rules. So. Okay, so you have the high card now. The soldier begins to accomplish this task. You tell me how you accomplish the task.
I probably close my eyes because I'm deep in the memory, and I just swing my arm backhand and I strike her across the face.
Okay. She falls down back to her chair. You hear the glass roll on the floor. Does it shatter because it's a thick glass? But there's ice everywhere, and obviously scotch now. You probably hurt her pretty badly. She's trying to say something, trying to scream, but she can't. How do you want to finish her off?
I'm going to rip a pulse.
Well,
And
actually, hold on a second. You can technically try to resist since you do have a card that's higher than mine.
okay. So then I'm going. I would probably do that. Then I would probably think about what I want to do and think about that memory of who I was at that moment. That the scotch is starting to get into my brain a little bit, and I'm tasting it. So I'm just reflecting on the moment when I decided to just go full tilt.
Okay.
And it's kind of just lingering in my brain, and I'm kind of wandering away from her a little bit, just kind of wandering off because I'm thinking about that.
Okay, so to resist, and I apologize, I should have read this earlier. Discard a card from your hold whose rank is high enough to defeat the obstacle of the task. So at this point, what you could do is you could trigger another memory, and you would put your ace in your hold.
Okay.
But then you would risk the next card not being higher than, say, a 10. Although you could also use your, once per turn, use your weapon to get rid of some of the obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do that.
I think I would, yeah. I think what will happen for me just naturally is that I'm not even thinking about it. I just swing my rifle toward her and just fire,
Okay.
and walk away.
Okay. We will. If everyone listening heard what kind of weapon it is, I don't think there's much left to describe in that regard. The task itself is now accomplished, and that ends the turn. So there are 3 possible outcomes here. You succeed. Your card ranks higher than the GM's highest card rank, and the soldier does not resist. So you resisted a little bit, but then you decided to just go with it. So
Foreshadowing.
right, yes.
Sorry, I broke character. I apologize.
That's okay. The Dark Master's intentions are carried out, and the desires the soldier may have had for how the events should turn out are crushed beneath the Master's will. You don't even necessarily, like you say, you just turn your weapon towards her and don't even think about it. That's my Dark Master saying, "What are you doing?" All right. There's no place for weakness. Just finish her. And so at the end of the described outcome, Talia Jones is eliminated. All that, who knows what happens to all that sweet editor money. Vanessa can tell us about that. All cards in play are discarded except for the current hold. So you discard my 3. Yeah, I don't have any in a hold. So you discard my 3, and then you discard your ace, but you still have your 3 in the hold.
Jeez. Okay. Which is going to be fucking worthless, but okay.
I might draw 3 2s, so who knows?
Very true. All right.
Okay, so this is where we can also play what did you call playing the end game. At the conclusion of a turn, you may state that the game will end. That's on you.
Oh, okay.
The GM may agree, and the next turn will be the end game, or the GM may say 1 more turn, and then play 1 more regular turn, and then the turn after that will be the end game. So,
I'm good right now to keep going.
All right, sounds good.
I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it, but I'm good.
Okay. Also, if we come upon the Joker triggers the end game as well.
Okay.
All right, then we go back to the next turn, turn 2, the second task. You return. You return to where I left you. I guess it's probably about midday by the time you get back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trashily dressed, but professional but casual, right? I guess turtleneck maybe and jeans. I have a second task for you, soldier. Brian Farn is the publicist for Gertrude Farn Riley, his sister. Gertrude is a forgive me, my romance people, is a romance writer, but she's wildly successful romance writer. We both grew up in the same like small writers group, right? There's a picture, we flashed to a picture of Gertrude and some other people, and early non-dark hat Sean with hair, and maybe with like a peace symbol on. But I grew out of that nonsense, or my darker half did. Anyway, but it's all her brother, right? That's what and so the Dark Master sort of goes off on a diatribe, as he would, because you have to listen. And he's like, it's all her brother. He's the one who makes her, he's the one who's been making her rich, and he's got all that rich publicist money. Mm-hmm. But he lives in the city. He lives in Portland. I want you to go in, and I want you to destroy his office with him in it. That's your next task.
All right.
So, you describe what time of day you go there and things like that.
I will go right out after rush hour. I'm going to commandeer a vehicle, probably a big truck. Portland's full of big, giant trucks, and I'll commandeer one of them. I'll hotwire the truck and commandeer the truck and head into town, and right after rush hour, and head into the town and sit patiently, waiting for a little bit of darkness to overshadow.
Okay. We'll call it. I didn't really describe the season, but whatever this season is, because time flows very, obviously very weirdly. It's fall, so it's getting darker a little sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And
it doesn't need to be completely dark for what I'm planning to do, but
okay, gotcha. So it's twilight. It's still got a nice pink orange to the lower sky, a little bit of blue and black above it. Some kids roll by in high socks and roller skates without helmets on, I will point out. But otherwise the streets are pretty quiet at this point. At least this part of it is.
Great. I'm going to be across the street in the truck. The truck is going to be, I'm going to park the truck back end so that I'm facing the building of the office building.
Okay.
I'm hoping that I'm correct in that I've picked the right building that has double pane windows across so that he can look out into the town.
Yes, correct. That is exactly it. Yep, that's the exact kind of office this dude has.
And I'm just going to rev the engine and rev it, and then put it in drive and go right through the windows.
Okay. That's where we come to the point where we are. Yeah, I don't know. That was all these zombie soldiers walking around. Okay, so we'll go back to our confronting the command. So if you would, go ahead and draw 3 cards for me and show them to everyone.
The first one is a 9. The next one is an 8. Oh, I'm not having very good luck tonight. And a 4.
Okay. And just remember, you can use your once per turn, you use your weapon to wipe out that 9, or if you want.
Yeah. Well, but I can't beat any of the cards that you have with my hold card right now. So.
Oh, what card did you get?
Well, I have the 3, right? So I just have the 3 and hold. I haven't pulled another card.
Right. Yeah, right. Yes, correct.
But you want me to draw another card?
Draw your card.
Okay. Doesn't get much better. 2.
Okay, so at the moment you're failing.
Yeah.
However, do you want to remember something? Remembering something allows you to take the 2 and put it in your hold and to draw a new card. And you can just tell me what you're remembering.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay. So let me describe currently how you're feeling. So in your zombie state, you didn't notice the small car that was coming cross street and banged into you and bounced off. Thankfully, it was not a Pinto. Or that could have been, even worse. So that's where we are now. The car has crashed into you, pushed your trajectory off a little bit, but your truck is big enough it's still going to go. And so it triggers what memory?
There was a flash bomb in Grenada that happened while we were climbing over the hillside. We had just taken a missionary that was housing soldiers, and they were hiding in the missionary, thinking that we would never attack a missionary. And we went in. Me and my unit went in there, and we carpet bombed it basically with grenades and fire flamethrowers. We're running over the top of the hillside, and I get into a Jeep that is sitting on the roadside as a missile is coming toward me, and I just floor it to get away.
Okay. Yeah, that's a perfect memory. There was a big flashback about that. All right, so you can put that 2 in your hold, and you can go ahead and draw a new card.
All right, I'm gonna shuffle these fucking things because I got a 4.
Okay.
I'm just gonna shuffle the rest of them right now.
Oh, sounds good. You can again. There's no amount of necessarily how many right now. Again, your trajectory has fallen off. You run into a tree that was on the curb, and you're over the curb, and you're sort of stuck at the moment. So you can either choose to continue and fail, or you can you can do another memory.
What does a tie do? Does a tie do anything for me? Like, we both have a 4. Does that do anything?
I don't see it say that in the rules, so ties go to the defender.
Okay, then I'm gonna
go to the soldier.
Okay, I'm going to trigger another memory.
Okay.
And discard this card and pull another card, right? That's what I'm doing?
Yep, that's what you're doing. Yep.
Okay, so I have another memory. All right, so when I'm in the truck, I wake up in present day, the truck. I see the person halfway out of the car that I just hit in present day. Their body's kind of halfway out, halfway in.
Okay.
And it triggers a memory of when I floored it in Grenada and I hit a young boy.
Oh, okay.
And for some reason that memory flashes, even though that person's not a young boy that's in that car. I feel like the boy is there, and the person that is there in the present day, their head turns around and looks at me, and it's the young boy that I'm seeing.
Right. Absolutely. That is definitely something that the soldier would, that's a memory that would definitely be triggered by this sort of situation. All right, go ahead and draw that next card.
I just did it. It's a 9.
Okay, so yeah, ties go to the soldier. So you are succeeding at the moment.
Mm.
Yes. So describe. So go ahead and describe how you succeed. You remember you've stopped a little bit. You've hit the car hit you, but you can still accomplish your task. Tell us how you do that.
I noticed that the gentleman has come out to see what's going on out of the office. He's peeked out of the doorway. I kick open the passenger door. I just kick it right through and just knock it loose. My gun is sitting right next to me, and I just pick that thing up and I just hit a barrage of bullets that just rip right through there.
Yeah. Bullet after bullet, they hear the high whine of the minigun. There's fire, and I guess at some point you'll probably use or how do you use the flamethrower? He's done. He's done.
Yeah, I don't need to use the flamethrower. I think I would just hold off on the flame. Well, maybe I would probably,
Because they want you to Dark Master wants you to destroy his office too.
yeah, I would probably then jump out of the truck and with the gun at my hip and just rip the flamethrower into the office.
Okay.
Because the door's open because he came out. So I just rip right in. I just walk through the goo that I just created of blood and guts and just stomp right through there and just anything I see that's flammable, I'm hitting it with the flamethrower.
Okay. There's a middle-aged secretary in here. Do you spare her or do you immolate her as well?
I can't speak, right? So
right, you cannot speak. You cannot make any communication with this person.
I pull the gun up for a count in my own head. Obviously I can't communicate, so I'm just pulling the gun up, hoping that she gets the cue to run out. I'm going to spare her if she gets the cue.
Okay, she grabs the expensive-looking typewriter and runs out the door.
Damn it. She's got to die.
Okay.
I mean, right? That's the directive. I've got to destroy the things that make this guy famous, right? Right. The typewriter is probably one of those tools that you want me to destroy. So,
yes,
I'm going to have to. So as soon as I see her grab that and start to run out, I'm setting up the pulse, and I'm just gonna rip a pulse right through her.
Okay. So Miss Betty, who's been with the publishing firm for like 20 years, even before this dude came on board.
You're a bastard.
She's not quite to retirement, but she's looking forward to vacation with her grandkids. And she just
I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying, y'all, to be morally.
But that's why I'm the Dark Master, and so she's just disintegrates, right?
Sorry, I'm breaking. I apologize.
No, that's okay. No, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. Okay, so you have succeeded, and now we decide if you want to do end game or keep going.
I'm gonna keep going for the moment. I'm itching though. There's something that in the back of my brain that is kind of turning this present day into reality for me a little bit more every time that it gets shook a little bit. But I think the story is incomplete enough for me to just not be there fully yet. So,
okay, all right, go ahead and discard my cards. Discard your 9, and you make your way back to where the Dark Shaman had summoned you. Of course, I'm only about actually 18 at this point, but maybe it's Dark Time Traveling Shaman. Well done, soldier. That's 2 enemies gone. Here we go. Now we're going to get rid of Josh Pell. He's a ghostwriter for Babcock Cornwall. Yeah, so it's a fantasy game. Babcock Cornwaller, who is a famous historical writer, and I've always wanted to be a historical writer. This motherfucker is like sucking all the oxygen out of the room. He got like a C. He got a C in European history. I got an A in European history. All right, and he doesn't even know anything about any of the indigenous people or anything. He's a total knob. But the real power behind his successful run of nonfiction and nonfiction is Josh Pell, who got a B in history, not an A. But he's an excellent ghostwriter, so we need to get rid of Josh. And we not only need to get rid of Josh, we need to ruin Babcock's reputation as well. So I think Josh needs to go, but there needs to be evidence that he was the ghostwriter for Babcock Cornweiler, which maybe is the greatest name ever. But
Okay.
So how do you want to go about this?
Where's Josh at? Is he nearby, or do I have to travel?
Josh is down the I-5 in Eugene, or Oregon as I call it. But yeah, he's in Eugene.
I think I want to make a pit stop if I can before I get to Josh. I want to visit the nearest reservation.
Okay.
And grab some kind of artifact or bones or something that would link him to indigenous folks of that period that he's writing about.
Right.
And to plant some evidence.
Gotcha.
That kind of idea. So that's my first thing. I'm going there, grabbing some evidence to get ready to plant, and then I don't really care what time of day. Josh is a little wimp, so I'm just gonna run in there and just destroy him. So it doesn't really matter to me what time of day I go in there. He's a ghost writer, so he's probably a recluse. He probably just stays in his own apartment, and probably he might even be an agoraphobe. I don't know, but that's my assumption with ghost writers. Hearing that word, I don't know much about anything, but just hearing that word makes me think that he's kind of a hermit, and so I can just go in there and destroy him and never think anything of it.
Okay, so you do see he does live in an apartment. It's on the second floor. There's a stairway leading up. He is it's the kind of apartments where like the stairs lead directly to the doors, and so like his is the first door on the left.
Okay.
He's got like 2 rooms, so you can see but you guess the curtains are drawn, right? As you're going up, let's say it's about noon. As you're walking towards the stairs and up the stairs, like steps up a little bit, you see some guy comes out of he's got like Don Johnson stuff on, comes out of the door. And you see him handing over a bag full of white stuff, a white powdery substance, and he's actually even wiping a little bit off his nose, and Josh is wiping a little off his nose, and Josh is handing over like bills, right? You can't tell necessarily what they are, but they're definitely bills.
Okay.
So this is our obstacle. He's there with his dealer, and they've been doing coke, and now they're doing the deal out in the open. Sorry, Eugene. I don't know if that happened or not, but there you go. And what do you want to do? This is your obstacle. So go ahead and pull. My 3 cards.
Sure. Okay. Jesus. King.
The Dark Master is powerful.
2.
Yeah, okay.
And 4. So I've got some outs here.
Yeah. All right. So how are you going to
How much brain power do I have? Can I think like I would think as a covert soldier?
You're as smart as you need to be. Yep.
My thought is that I'm on the stairwell watching this happen, right? And they don't see me. They don't notice me, hopefully. And then so I'm going to go back down. I'm going to go. I noticed that there's a pizza place just down the road a little bit. I'm going to go into the pizza place, steal a pizza hat and a bag, a warming bag, and come up as a pizza person. But inside the bag is going to be my gun, basically.
Right. Okay. Yep. You're climbing the stairs. You've got the pizza bag. You've got the hat. They're looking down at you, like just barely notice you coming up, and they look a little puzzled. Maybe you're going on to 202, not 201. Go ahead and pull your card.
All right. An 8.
Okay.
My first high card of the night.
All right. So your card is an 8. What's mine?
King, 2, and 4.
Okay.
Do I get partial credit for beating 2 of your 3 cards?
Well, what you can do is you use your once per turn to use dreadful powers, right? To remove one of my obstacle cards, and you basically put it face down in my hold. So you can take that king, put it face down in my hold.
Okay, I'm doing that.
Okay, so now your 8 beats my 4.
All right.
So yes, you are succeeding.
I'm going to ignite the flamethrower through the bag, and I'm going to set the powder on fire, because it's going to be in their hands, right? So whoever's hands it is, I'm going to set their hand on fire with the powder and just watch it go up in flames. And the other person will get hit with the flamethrower, will have the money in their hand, and that'll go up in flames because it's flammable. And hopefully they just all catch fire and I don't have to worry about anything else. I've got my gun aimed in just in case they are able to pull out the fire or it doesn't spread past their hands.
So. No, they're consumed by the fire, both of them. And like Josh goes runs down the hall, the breezeway, and he tries to jump in the pool to save himself, but it doesn't work. And the drug dealer tries to go for his gun, but it cooks off in his hand. And
Josh leaving the apartment is even better for me at that point, because then I can just walk into his apartment, set my artifact down on top of. I will probably put the first page of their latest manuscript, which has Harrison is his name. Is that his name?
Oh no, it's.
I didn't write that.
Babcock Cornweiler.
Babcock. So it's gonna have Babcock's name on it, written by Babcock. And I'll put the thing. I'm gonna put the artifact down on top of that, and then I'm gonna go through Josh's emails. Right, we're in present. Well, this is '80s, so there's probably wasn't email. He probably got. How did he get it? Probably got a letter in the mail from.
You got a letter in the mail.
Babcock. I'm gonna find that letter. And I'm going to place the letter next to the manuscript and the artifact. Okay. That shows that he hired Josh to write this piece.
Sounds good. All right. That accomplished, and some pizza joints missing at some of their stuff.
I can give it back to them. The bag's probably fucked, but I can give them the hat back. Actually, I want to keep the hat. I want to wear the hat throughout the rest of this.
Okay, that sounds good.
I want to have a little bit of character. It makes me feel like a person.
It does. It's true. It makes you part of a team, right?
Even though you're probably going to comment on what a stupid fucking hat it is, but that's all right.
No, I'm not going to say that. No, it's a fancy hat. And All right, so that task has been accomplished. So you've eliminated the three main people that the Dark Master wanted you to get rid of. Um, so you have the option to obviously choose endgame um, or not. And it's getting late, so if you wanted to do that, that'd be fine.
Okay. I was hoping we could explore my character a little bit more, but I'm happy to just do the end game at this point.
Okay. All
I think
right.
we've gotten a good taste of I at least I have gotten a good taste of this. So
Right, and you can see as we can go from scene to scene, right, where we're from dark mission to dark mission,
yeah,
right? You're creating memories, um, and you're getting a feel for what your character is.
yeah.
Um, all right, so playing the end game. So you call for end game. We've agreed. So okay. So based on your memories, we're going to choose one of these things to be at stake. Um, whether a cherished thing will be placed beyond harm, if whether a regret will be made right, or whether unfinished business will be completed.
I'm going to go with regret.
Okay, so if you that's the thing that is at stake for you is a regret that will be made right. The GM incorporates your choice into the situation based on their understanding of all elements in play. Either you or the GM describes the beginning of the end game as seems appropriate for the issue at stake. The Dark Master may or may not give an order as the GM deems appropriate. So I'm going to say that end game comes back, and clearly you come back with your hat, and clearly the Dark Master is excited that his scheme went off, but now he doesn't quite know what to do. So that little bit of hesitation on his part sort of triggers everything that's about to happen. And the Dark Master will say, soldier, come over here. So go ahead and draw 5 cards.
Okay. 2, 4, 5. Okay, got 5 cards here.
Okay, go ahead and show those cards to everybody if you would.
Jack.
Okay.
2.
Okay.
3.
Okay.
6.
Okay.
And another 3.
Okay. So what are the cards that are in your hold?
I have 4, 2, 3.
Okay. What are the cards that are in my hold?
The ones that I've discarded?
Not discarded, ones you've placed face down. I think just the king.
Just the king was the only one.
Okay. So at this point, what we do is we try to make the best poker hand we have, right?
Okay.
So what's your like? You have a full house there, don't you? The 2s and the 3s.
Close. We have more like a straight almost.
Okay. Okay.
But I mean, we do have a full house. We do have a full house.
So you have a full house.
2 2s, 3 3s.
Okay.
But we also almost have a flush.
So the king. But now, with using my hold with the 5 cards, I don't have much going on, do I?
You're supplying one of the 2s and one of the 3s. So.
Oh well, right. But I'm sorry. You do them separately. So you take your hold, and you look at the 5 cards, and you make the best poker hand you can. Don't worry about my king at the moment.
Okay. Well, I only have 3 cards in my hold, so I don't know how to make the best 5 cards. Out of your cards that are up, make it the best.
Well, so first off, discard the 3 cards that I had before. Right.
I did that already. Yeah.
Okay. So you have 5 cards, and these are both of us get to use these 5 cards.
Okay. All right. So I get you. So yeah, then I have a full house.
Okay. What have I got? Anything?
Not really. The king is a heart, so you got a flush draw. That's as close as you're gonna get. You have a pair of threes.
And full house beats pair of threes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if you win the hand, which you have, describe the conclusion of the soldier story. The components at stake are completed as specified above, and you may, if you wish, narrate the soldier's final death.
Okay. So, all right. So I'm killing him. That's what I'm doing. I'm returning him back to the grave.
Yes, you can if you want to, but tell us about the regret that's resolved. That is, made right.
Okay. So, in Grenada, I lost everybody. However, that was my assumption because I had fled the scene and nobody followed me with them.
Right.
I thought I lost everybody. I ran into the boy. I just jetted off after that and went AWOL. That's why I was in the middle of the woods in Oregon.
Right.
And I decided to flee and never look back and just be living off the land and everything like that, and to reassimilate with a different identity and everything.
Right.
And it was killing me slowly because I didn't know what happened to the rest of my. And you never leave a soldier behind. That's part of the motto of being a soldier: is you never leave any of your people behind.
Right.
So I don't know if any of them survived. I tried to go to the library and search for them to see if there was any articles or if there was anything that I could find knowing their names. If I could go through a DOD record book or something to that effect. I went into a VA trying to find if there was somebody who could help me pull records, D214s or anything like that for these folks,
Right.
and trying to find them. So my biggest regret was that I never knew what happened to any of them.
Okay.
And so you being the Dark Master, you knew that lording over me and you had information. And I don't know if you want to, I'm not going to assume for you, but I don't know if you want to give it to me willingly or if I have to kick the shit out of you to get it.
No, the Dark Master, I think probably at this point he would be like he's accomplished his task and he's doesn't think that far ahead, obviously. But so he's like, here, probably thinking it'll make you feel worse. He's like, here's the fates of your squad that you left at Grenada. So he'll throw those down to you.
Okay. And I discovered that one of them survived of the 4 that I had. And that one person is fairly close, like Vancouver. Okay, so
yeah.
I decide that I'm going to try and humanize myself enough to get across the border and try and do that. I'm obviously a zombie, so it's kind of difficult, and I don't have any way to communicate with anybody or anything like that.
A group of Sasquatch take you in and get you across the border.
All right. So I almost think like I get to almost the border and I start to think about everything that's happened and everything that I became and where I was. And I stop. And I decide to let sleeping dogs lie. Just knowing that one of them survived, it heals me to a little degree. I mean, obviously, I just start crying. I just start weeping because the 3 that I left behind are gone. So 3 of the 4 are dead, and so I just let all that emotion just heave through me, and just continue to just till it outpours me to the point where I'm good, right? I go into a liquor store looking at a bottle of scotch. I put my hand on it and I don't grab it. I walk back out and I come back to you and say, kill me. I have no reason to live anymore. I killed myself for this. Everything I've ever resolved, and if you're not going to do it, I'm going to take this opportunity to basically smash this gun in our presence and destroy me. I'm just going to let it burst into flame and let me burst into flame or whatever. And that's how I'm going to end, because I can't live this life. It's not a life to live. It's not, I am basically a shell of a person now. So it doesn't matter. All that matters was that I got the resolution and that I can die in peace and move on from whatever that means. So
awesome. Yep. Awesome. Thank you so much for playing Cold Soldier with me.
Thank you for having me. This was fucking amazing. I really enjoyed this. I'm glad I got to finish the story.
Yeah, for sure. Right. He'll help you finish yourself off.
Yeah.
Maybe his one redeeming value is that
he's got a humane way to do it or something. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, he just basically crushes the fetish that he helps draw you out, and you just, or like maybe he puts your old dog tags on you, something like that, and then you just sink back into the earth.
Awesome.
And there we go, folks. Cold Soldier. That's how role-playing games go. When they can be intense, they can be very personal.
And I think if you walked into your room, just to bring this all full circle to the multiverse, for anybody who's experiencing this, who is maybe hesitant, because I certainly would be. I would be hesitant. I'm not that person. I'd probably just bombastically walk into a room and just start playing whatever anybody was playing, because I don't care. I'm probably half in the bag anyway during that time period that I would do that, so it wouldn't matter. But if you're a person who's introverted, who wants to play games, who wants to learn games, or has an inkling to do this, this is a good way to. I think that Elizabeth and Sean and whoever else is going to be in that room can guide you to a game like this and help you get situated. And this is how it would go. This is how the gaming room has always been imagined. I'm presuming to speak for Sean on this, but that I know with the conversations we've had over the years, this is the way that it's always been imagined. And so, so that's how you do it. I think that I really thought, tonight was it was breaking my cherry and getting me to play RPG and getting me involved. But really, it is to demonstrate that this is how the gaming room should function, and how that's how that you and Bob perceive it, and want it to be. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. It's you can have amazing experiences with board games too, right? But with RPGs especially one that's this like focused between just two people. Really brings out a lot of good habits and a lot of enjoyment, I think.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like an asshole doing this. I didn't feel like I was terrible at it. So
no, you're very good, very good.
So I feel validated a little bit, So that's good. So
yeah,
although it would have been funny to watch me be just totally fuck it up, but it's still,
it happens. but I think that's why Cold Soldier was a good game for you.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I think you picked the perfect game. I also, that's another thing. Can I just say real quickly? That's another thing that I think is why Sean is so good at this. Is he's going to find the game. He's going to talk to you for a few minutes and find the game that suits you, and that is value in itself for you all out there who maybe don't know where you want to play and how you want to play. Maybe you're not suited for D&D, but maybe Pathfinder is a better option for you, and there's a Pathfinder game going, and Although I would imagine those guys don't want a new person to sit down and play. But
Well, no, the Pathfinder folks specifically do want the new people to come and play. That's what they're there for. Yeah, that's what they're for.
So I mean, that's what I'm, and obviously, the games that are going to be there, or whatever. But I'm sure they could find something that would suit what you're trying to do. So, I think that's a valuable skill. So I think I really felt comfortable playing this game because I relate to it. So I mean, I'm not the dark shit, but I you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
I was a soldier. I know people who were in Grenada, and they're batshit crazy. And so I could easily associate those things that I knew. So it helps.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, folks, like Joe says, I don't know if I'll have many copies of Cold Soldier, but I will bring one copy of Cold Soldier with me for anyone who wants to play at Multiverse in person, and I'll have a deck especially for it. But we'll have hopefully, I know Bob's going to have some of his games there, his smaller games, and I'll have a couple small indie games that for free that people can pick up and play. Plus we have all our board games. We're going to have some other things as well. So yeah, definitely. And that's just a game room, right? We're also going to have a whole track of play oriented panels.
And I will tell you firsthand, because I played Cards Against Humanity last year at Multiverse. It spills outside of the game room too after hours. So you guys, games go on all night. So that's it's a fun thing to do. I think it's a really good social aspect of what Multiverse offers that I don't see in many other places, many other cons.
Right, and it's so you might be a fan of horror, you might be in the dealer's room, you might be a fan of sci-fi, but everybody likes games.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, sir, you want to take us out?
Sure will. So join us at Multiverse on the 17th, 19th of October, 2025 in Peachtree City, Georgia. Please make a pilgrimage down there. Thanks to Joe for playing Cold Soldier with me. Shout out to the author. Let me get his name again.
Bret Gillan or something like that, right?
Yes. So Bret Gillan. Thanks so much. Ron, thanks for adapting it for Adept Press or Adept Play. And you know what? It's always time to go indie now.